The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by hosts and guests on this podcast are their own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of UCLA Athletics or UCLA Gymnastics. The content of this podcast is strictly for informational purposes only and should not be considered professional advice.
No matter what room you step into, always understand that you are who you are and that you can be the greatest in any way, shape, or form.
Welcome to the Black Gymnast Olympic Dreams edition of the Resilience to Brilliance podcast, where you'll be inspired by the history and eye-opening accounts from Olympians who lived the dream. I'm your host, Kim Hamilton Anthony. Here we go. The Black Gymnast Olympic Dreams edition of Resilience to Brilliance is a short podcast series dedicated to the young Black gymnasts and their families out there who have the Olympic dream. In the 2020 Olympic trials, you will likely see more Black gymnasts competing at this level than ever before. So I thought I'd bring on some individuals who can provide some encouragement and advice for these young athletes and their families on how to navigate the sport of gymnastics while still embracing the skin they're in. Also, those who can help us to learn a bit more about the history of Black gymnasts, and of course, those who can actually share their own stories of resilience and what it took for them to achieve their own Olympic dreams. We close out this series with 2020 Olympian and 2024 Olympic contender, Jordan Chiles. Jordan Chiles is a 2020 Olympic silver medalist, 3-time world medalist, and at UCLA, she was a 2-time NCAA national champion and 9-time All-American. Woo, that's a lot. While competing at UCLA, Jordan earned 8 perfect 10s in only 2 seasons. Well, Jordan is continuing to make her mark on the world in so many ways, including another run for the U.S. Olympic team. The two of us sat down for a conversation that I believe will inspire you, maybe even surprise you, but definitely enlighten you. Let's listen. Hey, Jordan, welcome to Resilience to Brilliance.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being on. I appreciate you taking the time out of your workout schedule. You got a lot going on right now.
I do. It's a little stormy over here in Texas right now, but having this nice day to talk to you, I'm really excited.
Oh, good. Well, I'm excited about our conversation. Now, you know that this is a podcast that is dedicated to the young Black gymnast out there who has Olympic dreams. Yes. And you medaled in the 2020 Olympics, and then you went off to college at UCLA, and now you are vying for another Olympic run. So tell me, was that a part of the original plan?
So originally, before the Olympics was even a thing, when I first started gymnastics, I was like, you know what? Why don't I try for the Olympics? Because I was watching in 2008 and everything that kind of played out. I didn't know gymnastics was going to be my sport that I would go to the Olympics for. So back in 2013, I finally realized, okay, I do have this talent. I have everything in me to kind of push to a huge goal that I've always wanted to do ever since I was little. So going to Tokyo, fun fact, whether I made the Olympics or didn't make the Olympics, I was always going to be a UCLA Bruin.
Really?
Whether I went pro, I didn't want to go pro whatsoever because I knew there was more to me than just my sport. And I wanted to experience the college and experience everything about, being in that Bruin family, because so far it's been amazing. After qualifications in 2020, I called my mom and I was like, Mom, this is just, I failed everybody. I don't know what I'm doing. Why am I here? I shouldn't have been put on the team. I went through this downfall within my gymnastics career at the Olympics. And keep in mind, that's the biggest stage you'll ever be on in life.
Exactly.
It's like when artists sell out their first arena or something, that was just a huge moment for me. But in that moment, I just felt like I disappointed everyone. So after we came back to the United States and all that, I was just like, went to my freshman year of college, which was definitely an interesting experience, but I wouldn't change the world for it, because at the end of the day, once you start and you feel confident in yourself and you feel everything that's within you, you're going to have fun. So I think the first 3 months I was like, you know what, let me try for Worlds, because I was the only athlete on the gymnastics team that I never went to a Worlds before an Olympics. So I was like, you know what, let me go for a Worlds. So I went to 2022 Worlds, and I kind of from there, it took me a while to really be like, okay, Paris is on my mind. Yes, did I say it to my mom when I came back, like, why don't I just try for another Olympics? Like, I feel like I can give more, but not until after this 2023, because I went back after Worlds. I went back to UCLA, which is pretty crazy, because like I have not had a break whatsoever between college and pro and college and pro. And
wow.
So I kind of just put myself in a position now to where I'm like, okay, I'm going to hone in down on everything that I have, give everything that I got, and kind of push to a limit where I know I can give my 100%. So Paris has always been on my mind, but in the midst of everything, it's been, kind of, yes, do I want to do it? No, do I want to do it? Like, yes, do I want to? No, I'm good. So like now I'm committed.
What made you hesitate?
I think it was more so like, I didn't want to have people feel disappointed. Like, oh, she went for another Olympics, like, and she didn't make the team. Oh, she went to another Olympics, and, why did she? She's already accomplished so much. So that was kind of like the hesitation. And also there was some things within my life that kind of changed. I lost 2 family members that were really dearly close to me, my aunt and my grandpa, in the same year.
I'm so sorry.
I was in hospitals because of an incident with my sister. So like my whole year was just, crazy. So my mind wasn't really focused on Paris. It was just like, what is happening within my life? Like, this doesn't feel right whatsoever. So that's like kind of where the hesitation came in.
Wow. That's a lot of pressure. You're thinking about what other people may be thinking about your choice to come back. Will you disappoint them? And then you have these very important family issues going on that you needed to give attention to. So how are you able to get past those things? Not that you necessarily, get over losing family members, but how are you able to work through that and come out on the other end saying, you know what, I'm going to try it again?
I think the hardest part was my family, knowing that, you wish you were with them. You wish it was you instead of them. But I had to realize no matter what, they're always going to be looking down on me and being proud. For instance, my grandpa has this saying, where you are, I have been, where I am, you will be. And that's something that has stuck with us for a very long time, because it is true. Eventually we will be able to be with him. We will be able to see him again. Yes. And I've been able to have that support system that I've needed from, my college teammates and my teammates here, and family and friends, and meeting new people, not even having the same friends going into a year, like realizing that there's so much more to you than you being stuck in one place, one mindset. Yes, did I go through a lot of mental aspects of things, 100%, but I had to remember that I'm one Jordan and one Jordan only. No one can really control my life unless I'm controlling it. And I needed to really step in past that barrier of understanding, like, those things are going to be in the past. Those things are not going to be, something that you'll be able to dwell on and always cry about. And yes, I had my moment of crying, and, yes, I had my moment of, grieving on those times, but it's time to push past. It's time to go to the next level. It's time to, put your mind in a position to where you're there. So that was kind of one part of that really helped me. But then also realizing that I'm an Olympian. That's not going to get taken away from me. I've been an amazing, friend, best friend. Like, I just realized a lot within that time frame that no one can really take those titles away from me, because I've already done it. And so that's kind of where I am now, where I'm just like, okay, at the end of the day, whatever happens, happens. And, I'm going to be proud of myself no matter what.
So it feels like you actually don't have that pressure that you thought you would have when you were contemplating, do I continue this journey or not. And that is a freeing place to be. So how has that affected you in the gym as an athlete?
Knowing that I don't have like that much pressure, it's helped. But also it's like, how come I don't have it? How come I don't feel like, you know, I'm competing in 2 weeks? How come I don't feel like, but again, it can hit me 100%. Like when it gets closer, I do say like it could hit me at any point in time, but I just feel at ease. I feel you know, going into the gym is more of, okay, you're going to go in, do your work, get out. And I don't talk about gymnastics. When I get home, I talk about, you know, oh, what is my friend doing? I'll be on FaceTime, you know, I'll play with my dogs, watch a movie. So I think being able to separate the two have helped a lot within that. But in the gym, I'm just constantly, you know, making jokes, having fun, trying new skills. You know, if I fall, yes, I get frustrated, but I'm going to get back up and redo it and figure out my problem. So I just kind of, you know, I'm at a relaxed stage. I just turned 23, so I'm like at a relaxed stage in my life that I'm just like, okay, this is not the end of the world. There's only one part of my book that I have, you know, there's only one part of my chapter. This is only one part of my puzzle piece that I'm fitting into, you know, to make that beautiful picture of mine. So right now I'm just, you know, taking it day by day and month by month, really.
Oh, I love to hear that. And it's funny how you talked about, I don't feel this pressure. I feel relaxed. And then you ask yourself, why do I feel so relaxed? Why don't I feel the pressure? And it's so funny when you live under pressure for so long and then all of a sudden you have this mindset shift, and then you're, you know, living out your brilliance in a different way that's more confident and comfortable. Sometimes we do kind of second guess, shouldn't I be this?
Yeah.
But I just encourage you to walk in that strength, walk in that confidence. And I'm so excited to watch you, to just see you do your thing.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That means a lot because, you know what, there's a lot of times when, just like me being who I am, like an athlete, especially being Black in this world of ours, I definitely, you know, you never understand truly. Well, me personally, I can't speak for everybody else, but I never understand truthfully how many people I can uplift and inspire until an incident happens, until something happens and I run into somebody. Because there's times where I'm walking and, you know, a little girl may be like, oh my gosh, mom, like that's Jordan Chiles, or oh my gosh, like I've always wanted to meet you. And it's just like, I realize so much on what the impact that I put on people that I wish I could see. You know, I wish I can have a double body and just be like, okay, let me see what I'm doing within myself. So, you know, I don't have that taken away from me. And, you know, I always try to be the same person I am with each and every person, whether you may not like me or maybe you do. Like at the end of the day, you know, I just kind of feel very like joyful and happy that I am able to do that. So when you say that, it just makes me feel like, oh, wow, like that's crazy.
Oh, well, I mean, I love hearing how you're impacting others because we know it's happening, but you don't always get a chance to see it because you're doing your thing. You're training, you're in the gym, you're focused. And I love how you said that you're able to separate your gymnastics from your outside life.
Yes.
And there have been studies done about how important that is for any high-level athlete, any elite athlete. And they actually found out that the greatest athletes do just that. And they're able to have fun. They're able to think about other things other than their sport. And something happens in the brain. I'm not going to try to butcher it or anything and make up something for you, but there's something that happens in the brain that allows you to, you know, compete at the highest level when you are able to step away. So that is fun. I love hearing it because in our sport, that doesn't always happen, right?
I can tell you the very first time that I was able to like separate the two was actually after my freshman year of college when I realized, you know, yes, being in the gym is fun and all, but also there's more to do outside of the gym. You know, you can go to whether it's another academic that, you know, find friends. Like I was in a Black student like study that I was able to, communicate and actually feel my normal self in a classroom.
Interesting.
And I was like, this is cool. This is great. This is amazing. So, and like a lot of our assignments, you have a group that you go with and you kind of, discover, like ask them questions. And so like understanding that during my freshman year, I was like, wait a minute, if I can do that here, why can't I do that? And, when I'm pro and I can just, discover different things. And that's something that I'm all about, being able to find different talents. I say talents within yourself. Yes, you can have a sport, but you also can be in architecture. Yes, you have a sport. You also can be a nail designer. Yes, you're like, there's different things that people have within them, but I feel like sometimes they can't embrace it because they are only focusing on one. And for me, I was like, no, I'm not going to just focus on my sport. Like, I'm going to go have fun. I'm going to go to the mall with my friends. I'm going to go out to dinner. I'm going to go watch a movie, go bowling, go watch football games, basketball games, whatever it is, because that's how life is supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to, yes, you have a career and job, but also you can still enjoy life as well. Yeah. And so I brought that back into the elite world, and I was like, oh, this is great. This is cool. This is fun. People are always asking me, you're here and here and here. I'm like, because I have to, like my brain constantly goes. So in order for me to kind of like come to a peaceful place to keep enjoying my sport, that's what I do have to do.
That's so good. That is good. Now,
thank you.
We talk about resilience. You talked about the resilience you needed to get through all of the things that was happening with your family. Can you talk about a time, and maybe you already mentioned it, maybe it was the 2020 Olympics, and coming out of that and, continuing this journey. But can you talk about a time when in your gymnastics career when you just had to be resilient in order to make it through because there was no other way?
I definitely would have to say the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, especially team finals. I'm pretty sure you saw everything that happened with my teammate, my bestie, Simone. So being put in that position, being put in somebody's shoes like that was the most hardest thing I've ever had to deal with in my life. And I didn't want to disappoint her. I didn't want to make her feel like, what she was doing was bad, because there was already people saying a lot of things. So for me, in that moment, I knew I had to be resilient within myself and kind of block everything out. I wanted to be able to kind of understand I'm being put in this position for a reason. It's not because, all these other things are happening around me. It's because this is a test. I felt like that was a test from God trying to tell me, okay, you're here for a reason. This is why you're on the team. This is why you're doing everything that you're doing, because in these moments, you're the one that they're going to pick. So I always tell people, I bet it was like 15 minutes for you guys. That felt like 3 seconds for me, like being told to go do this, do that. And just getting that confidence to understand, okay, I'm going to go up here, do everything that I need to do because it's a team event. And how I overcame that was basically understanding that I've put not just 1 year, not just 2, but my whole entire life to be on this stage. And I wanted to prove and show people that I'm here for a reason. I'm here to stay, basically. Like, y'all can't tell me otherwise. Y'all can't, you can't tell me this, that, or the other, because this is where I'm supposed to be. So that experience has definitely been something that I always take back to and always remember, because in that moment, I felt confident. I felt the Jordan that needed to be there. I felt, that supporter, that big sister, that little sister, whatever it was in that moment. And I was able to shine as bright as I could to, help our team get to that medal for sure.
I think about the lessons that we learn. They usually come from a place of hardship. It's not when you're, standing, on the podium and you're winning. That's not when you learn and get that depth of learning. It's when you go through the difficult times. How has the situation you just described during the 2020 Olympics, how has that changed you as a person?
Well, I can tell you it's changed me a lot. It's made me realize a lot within myself that the reason why I'm in this sport isn't because truly of my talent, but it's more about my presence and about who I am. I can say, yes, I am talented. I do have a gift that was given from God, and I do take that into accountability. And like, I'm always going to use whatever God gave me. I'm going to make it and use it to the fullest. So after that day and after that time period, I definitely can say, like, it made me think, if that was not even a portion of me being put out there, how much more can I give so it's 100% of me?
Wow.
To be seen. And now that I'm kind of, 2 years, 3 years later, I've been in a position to where, yes, I can speak on, mental health. Yes, I can be able to speak about my story that happened in the past of my old coach. Yes, I can speak about, times where people may need help, whether it's with a relationship, whether it's with, certain things, whether it's with their own sport. So now I've been able to really just look back at myself and be like, if it wasn't for that moment, or if it wasn't for, people always telling me you have more to give or more to see or more to put out into the world,
yes, then
I wouldn't be right here, right now, being able to, speak about it. Because I do. There's a story that I do have. There's a lot of things that I do have, to say about my life. But definitely can say that did change. And it made me feel like no matter place I step into, I'll be able to still be the Jordan I need to be, no matter, the times that I have to, maneuver myself. I can still be that Jordan. And I always tell these to people, I think of my life as a puzzle. So you know how you start with the border, right? You start with the border of a puzzle piece. And so when I think of the border of the puzzle piece, it's like you growing. You're infant, and then you start, I'm graduating, making the border. Right. And the stuff on the inside is all the things that you kind of, it's hard to see the picture because you have to pick up a piece. You have to see if the piece fits. And if it doesn't, you got to keep turning it and you got to keep fixing it. And so that's how I think of my life, because there were times, I should say, that I did have to do that, whether it was moving, whether it was the Olympic experience, whether it was me coming back, whether it was me going to school, whether it was me just being in the position of me losing 2 family members. Like, that's just how I see life, really. So
yeah,
this is just one piece of my puzzle that is only going to be put in the right spot at the right time.
Yes, exactly. And all of those little pieces of your life, Jordan, are going to create this beautiful masterpiece. Absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
Now, Jordan, it's been interesting talking with other Black Olympians about their experience. And it's wild because some who are from other countries, they have a totally different experience than the African-American gymnast. And there might even be some people who look at all of the Black gymnasts who are competing at the Olympic level now, and they say, oh, I'm sure there's nothing that they're going through that people like me, I was in the 1984 Olympic trials, they don't have to go through that kind of stuff anymore. So yes. I never want to assume that there are issues that you may have experienced that your teammates who don't look like you don't have to experience. But I do want to ask the question, what has been your experience as a Black gymnast?
Well, I can say I'm very proud to be an African-American competing in this sport, let alone just sports in general. I am very proud to be able to have the younger generation look up to me and be like, if she can do it, I can do it. Yes. I know that saying is always said, but it's for real. If she can do it, I can do it.
It's true.
And my experience wasn't like the typical, like my friends, like you said, it's not typical. There has been times where I have been looked at, and I can give you one story. I was competing, I was really little, and basically there was this mom in the crowd and saying that I shouldn't be on the floor. She screamed it. She said that thing shouldn't be on the floor.
Whoa.
I only know this because my mom told me the story. So like, if I truly could tell you how I felt, I don't know how I felt. I was young. So, yes. But when I think about it, I probably was like confused. I was confused. Like, why did she say that? And what did she, like, what was that for? So that experience, I didn't realize I was getting like racial slurs and racial experiences until I got older, until, my coach told me my mom wasn't my mom because she wasn't Black. You know, my, I got one time she cut my braids out. There was, there was, that was my experience. Yes, it was my experience. And the only reason why people are always like telling me your execution is so good, which I appreciate. Thank you very much. But the only reason why my execution is so good is because I always got basically like tapped in the stomach 24/7, like all the time, like for no reason. Like, what are you doing? But then I realized, like, because at that time I thought it was because I was being body shamed. I always got weighed because I wasn't the typical weight. I always was supposed to eat a certain thing. Like there's a lot. Before I don't even want to go into the deepness part of it, but like there was a lot that I did go through at a young age, even within the judging, even within, you know, the way you're supposed to look onto a competition floor, you know. But I decided now, as I got older, I want to say around 19 years old, and I was like, there shouldn't be a thing where people have to look at you just because you're in gymnastics and you have to be that certain tall, long hair in a tight bun, you know, like that, that statistic, like it doesn't need to be known that that's what you're supposed to do. So I decided to go out the ring. I'm the only black gymnast who wears long nails, because who does that? Like, my nails are long. Like, I'm the only black gymnast who actually does crazy things with her hair, whether it's braids, I'll put clips in them, I'll put, you know, I did, like, one time I did a Wakanda Forever look. Like, I wanted to change that culture of what it's supposed to look like. So now, me being a black athlete, I'm like, of course I'm going to do anything that I can to be able to show that younger generation that you can go out there and be the beautiful person that you are. My mom taught me that. My mom taught me, you know, no matter what, you look at yourself in the mirror and you tell yourself you're beautiful. Yes. You tell yourself you're that person. Like, you know, give yourself those affirmations that you need so you can wake up every morning and be okay with yourself. Because that's what I started thinking as well. I don't like social media whatsoever. And yes, I've had hate comments and I've had a bunch of million different things come at me. But when I look at them, I'm like, if you have the ability to write somebody a hate comment, then obviously there's something within yourself that you don't like.
Yep.
And so that's what I've taken. So people always, Jordan, how do you take this hate comment? I don't know. I just ignore it. Because obviously there's something within themselves that they can't handle, which I pray every day that people can fix that within themselves and that they can, you know, look at themselves and be okay with them. But again, not everybody likes to change. So yeah, being a black athlete is really cool now. I really enjoy it. As many times, like I do. I enjoy being the person I am. I enjoy my personality. I enjoy, you know, having that ability to be Jordan Chiles. Like, I don't want to be anybody else. I'm not the next Gabby Douglas. I'm not the next Simone Biles. I'm not the next Dominique Dodd. As many people always said that when I was younger, I'm the next Jordan Chiles, and I will forever be the next Jordan Chiles. So
the one and only.
I've really experienced, I've really experienced this like cool, unique, different way of trying to transform myself into that beautiful, outgoing, hype, fun girl that people needed to see.
This is so fun to hear, Jordan, because on one hand, I hear, you know, the things that you faced as a young athlete, but ignorance is bliss, right? You mentioned God earlier. God protected you from hearing those types of things so that you could continue on your journey. And then you grow up and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to be authentically, unapologetically me. That's just who I am. And to watch you is so much fun, I have to tell you, because you do not hold back, Jordan Chiles. You do not hold back, for sure.
Thank you.
So talk to the young black gymnast who's listening, and she's maybe heard some of the things that you've heard. She's maybe overheard some conversations about her, and maybe she's feeling a little less than. Like, yeah, I'm good, I'm talented, but I don't know if I could ever make it to the Olympics or ever, become a collegiate gymnast. Speak to that person who's just discouraged and they aren't as strong as you are right now and aren't able to be their authentic selves. They feel like they have to shut that off when they're in the gym.
Well, I would say to any young athlete out there, whether it's in my sport or not in my sport, like I just say it in general, an athlete, you have the ability to put your mind to anything. I'll go with my quote, always believe in the power of your dreams, because your dreams are very powerful. There's something about them that, you can't contain, but once you fulfill that dream, you'll forever be able to cherish and love that memory. When it comes to your voice, use it. If it gets you in trouble, oh well, because at the end of the day, you'll be able to feel more confident once in yourself. That was one thing I wish I was able to do when I was younger, was use my voice, speak out on things that I couldn't change. So when it comes to a dream of yours or a talent or you just waking up in the morning going to school, always remember there's only one you and one you only. Being authentic to who you are is only going to bring you the greatest and the most amazing friends, family, support system that you may need. And if you ever need to talk to anybody, go to a teacher, go to the nearest, friend that you may have, go to whether it's somebody random, it could be a sports psychologist, it could be a therapist, and actually speak about things that you may have inside you that you can't tell others. That's what I did. I wasn't able to really speak a lot of things to my parents, but I knew if I went to a stranger, I was able to speak about it. So don't dim your light too dark, because you're brighter than all the stars in the sky. And that's always something that I really pay attention to, because the way you shine is the way that people see you. The way you walk into a room is the way that people are always going to talk about you. And if they ain't talking about you, then you must not be doing something. So again, I do have to say to those younger athletes, just be the authentic, unapologetic, you, because at the end of the day, there's only one you, and just run with it. Go have fun. I always tell people, have fun, do you. There's nothing in this world, that can change anything. This world is already crazy enough, so why not live it to the fullest? You only have one life to live, so live as much as you can.
Such great advice, Jordan. It really is.
Thank you.
Now, I want to close out my time with you with two questions. And the first question is one that I ask all of my guests, and that is, what does living in brilliance mode look like for you?
Living in brilliance mode is being able to give the understanding to the younger generation or older generation, depending on who's listening, that no matter what room you step into, always understand that you are who you are and that you can be the greatest in any way, shape, or form. For me, I like being able to, whether it's giving back, whether it's, walking and helping the homeless, whether it's building a community, whether I'm actually helping somebody at the gym. So in that moment of you feeling that confidence in yourself, that's where that brilliance comes in. Because look, me, if I could, I would get every single person everything that they need. If it's the last penny that I have in my pocket, I will give it to that person, because that's just who I am. So, and always remember, your personality, don't let people shut it out, because that was one thing that I wish I didn't when I was younger. So just don't let people shut it out. I'll use my personality in everything that I do. So yeah, that's my brilliance.
That is definitely your brilliance. And so that brings me to my last question. And you did a little bit of that as you were explaining what brilliance mode looks like for you. And the question is, well, I want you to paint a picture for the mind of the young gymnast listening about what living in brilliance mode might look like for them.
Say they're 10, 11 years old. They're walking into their gym and they feel this light of shining on them. And they feel the confidence and the encouragement and the support system that they have through each and every practice. And they can just enjoy and have fun with something that they've always dreamed of. And at the end, their reality may come true. Their imagination may come true of them becoming the best person that they ever could become.
I love it. Thank you, Jordan. I appreciate you taking time to spend with me today, and all the best.
No, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this. And to whoever's listening, I hope you get all the advice and the energy that you may need. So I really appreciate this. And this was fun.
Good. It was fun for me too.
Yay.
Thanks for listening. If you want to learn more about Jordan Chiles, check out our show notes on inbrilliancemode.com/podcast. And to connect with Jordan on Instagram, follow her at Jordan Chiles. If you've enjoyed this episode of Resilience to Brilliance, please share it with others who may be encouraged by it. And to make sure you don't miss future episodes, please follow or subscribe to the Resilience to Brilliance podcast on YouTube and on your favorite podcast platforms. You can also follow me on Instagram at RealKimAnthony. Any use of this podcast without the express written consent of Brilliance Mode, LLC is prohibited.